Good morning, boys. Daddy's back to his normal self for the most part. So woo 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 woo, mwah, 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 mwah. Love you guys. I miss you so much. It's insane, but you're still making me happy every day because I know things are gonna work out. And that's what today's little thing is about. I decided, like I told you a while ago, gotta give you some wisdom every once in a while. So daddy's pearls of knowledge. Woo. But please don't feed the animals slash humans at the zoo. The zoo is life, humanity, your day to day, wherever you want to call it. What you go through every day is a zoo. Trust me. There's kids running around, hanging on carts. There's, you know, adults saying things that aren't even legible, like raging at other people. If you watch an episode of the show called Jackass, you can see them acting like animals all the time. Half the stuff you see online are people using their animal instincts and animal behaviors. But no, life is a zoo. And the reason why I say please don't feed. I'll start the feed part first. Is um, if you feed an animal, some animals, especially the ones that are in captivity, you throw off their eating patterns, and that can be very detrimental to them. As a kid, I thought it was cruel when I saw people feed mice to snakes. I thought that was the meanest thing ever. I mean, come on, it's one animal eating another animal live, whole. It wasn't fair competition. It was like, come on, that's not cool, But when you think about it, when you get older, sorry, you realize that some animals won't eat unless their prey is alive. So you throw some Lay's potato chips in there, that snake ain't gonna eat that. It has to be a live animal. But it's not just that. Snakes are the only example of animals that do that. Um, there's a lot of animals, mammals, in nature that if you start to feed it, it will slowly lose its ability to hunt and scavenge for itself. So that's why you shouldn't feed all humans, because if you feed every single one, they pretty much, what I mean by is giving them handouts, giving them a break when they don't deserve it. If you get, like, say you get told to do a job and you literally go out and half-ass it. Well, most jobs now, they pay you by the hour. So you can have a person there working, I mean, extremely hard, sweating, hardest worker you ever seen. And then you have the other one who's sneaking on his phone every 5 minutes, or their phone, don't want to be gender specific, but I'm saying, sneak on the phone every 5 minutes, texting random stuff, looking at Facebook updates and everything, and they get paid the exact same amount. That's not fair. Life isn't fair, but that really isn't fair. Another example of it is when I was in school, and I don't know if it's gonna be the same way, probably is because it's been this way forever. You would have some students who barely squeak by. I mean, they show up. If there's 15 days you miss, you kicked out of school automatically. They miss 13 to 14 every year. They turn in their homework late. They go in with the sob excuse why they couldn't do this and do that. And then you got the valedictorian. They've busted their hump since day one. Their parents are probably helicopter parents, just hovering above them. What are you doing? What are you doing? Well, that doesn't look like math to me. You're supposed to be researching this, and are you looking at a cartoon? I mean, just their life is rough and hard, and their parents are pushing them. But at the end of the day, I mean, the valedictorian does get the little slash they get to wear. That's kind of cool. But let's forget the valedictorian. Let's number two. The finish number two. What happens at the end of the day when they graduate? That slacker who laughed at school, didn't want to try, and that kid who bust their hump, they get the exact same piece of paper, same high school diploma, same standing on the stage, handshake, nothing special. And when they go out to their first job employer, their GPA ain't on that piece of paper. I've never seen a job app for your first job, second job, third job, any job, that unless it's specific. Well, actually, I don't know if they've seen one. Period. They ask what was your GPA. How many days of school did you miss? You don't ask that. So it's already an evil, even, and I mean evil, honestly. That was Freudian slip, but it is evil that you, the person who tried your best, and that person who barely showed up, got the exact same scrap of paper. And why? Because people kept feeding that person. They didn't have to work hard for it. The valedictorian or the one who finished second or third in this class, they busted their hump. And just by circumstances, they're not number one. They try just as hard as probably sometimes number one, they're born gifted. They didn't even have to try that hard. They didn't even study that hard. Just remembers eidetic memory. They remember everything they read. Who knows? But that number three, number four, number five, they might have to study hard. They can't retain nothing. So they're up all night studying. And at the end of the day, they have the exact same piece of paper. So always work hard, as hard work will pay off. And I know you say, wait, how does that pay off? You just said I work hard and I get the exact same thing as the next guy. That don't make no sense. No, because when you work hard, it becomes part of who you are. In everything you work hard, and eventually someone will take notice. You know, it might take a while. It might take until you're almost my age before someone notices. Who knows? You might get lucky and someone notices, when you're in the eighth grade, ninth grade, put you in special classes. You don't know when someone's going to finally notice. It's like that expression when your ship finally comes in, you have no idea when it's going to come in. So always be prepared, be vigilant, and don't take food from the people. You earn your food. You earn your grades. You earn. Don't take no cheat sheet. That's feeding you. Don't take the easy way out. That's feeding you. So don't feed the humans. Mm-mm. Don't feed it. And like I said with animals, some of them they'll come up there into the cage at the zoo and give you a sad look, and well, you don't know it's sad, but you think it is because you don't know what a goat looks like when he's happy. I mean, you don't know what it looks like when they're got a sore foot. You don't know, but you think it's sad. And you're like, oh, and you try to hand them some chips or something, you can be throwing off their whole diet. You don't know. So your good act might end up being a bad act. So just don't do it. If someone needs help, help them. But don't go looking for it all the time. Because trust me, God's going to put the people in front of you that need your help when you need them. When they need your help and you need to help someone, it will be presented in front of you. But running up down the street trying to, save everyone else, it's not going to work for you, son. You know, and when I say son, I mean both of you boys. If you're here, I can just say your name directly to you, but you're not. Anyways, in the second part, don't tease animals. That's even worse. Holding some in someone's face and pulling them back at the last minute is just horrible. I mean, think about how you feel. You're supposed to get the new Xbox for Christmas or the new cell phone for Christmas. And imagine how you feel if when you open the Christmas present, Christmas morning, and we open it, there's the box, the packaging for the Xbox. Whoa! Oh, I got the Xbox! And you open it, and there's a rock inside. No system, no control, just a rock. Imagine how you feel. That's how it is when you walk up to an animal and you reach out food and you pull away last minute. That's what happens when you tell someone you're gonna do something and you pull away from it at the last minute. Imagine hanging off the edge of a boat and you're about to fall into the water and you can't swim. You say, I got you, and you run over to the life preserver. And right before you toss it around and we're tossing the water and grab it, you say, Psych! Do you think they're gonna think that's funny? Do you think they're gonna look at you and go, wow, at least I'm dying with a smile on my face? No. You don't tease. Because in the end, eventually, especially with animals and some humans, if you tease the wrong one, they'll bite you. And you won't see it coming because you're too busy laughing. You're too busy worrying about your own life thing. It's entertaining. It's funny. Ha ha ha. And you reach your hand out and you try to pull it back fast enough. No, they figure out what you're going to do this time because you've done it too many times. This time, when your hand goes forward to reach in the food, they bite you because they're trying to get the food. They almost might not mean you no harm. They're just trying to get the food because they realize that, okay, this idiot puts it out there, holds it out there for 2 seconds and pulls it back. He's done it 4 times in a row. So this time, as soon as he reaches his hand out, I'm grabbing the food. But they catch your hand. They bite off a finger. So don't tease animals. And like I say, with people, you tell someone you're going to do something and you don't do it, 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 they're gullible enough to keep falling for a little bit, but after a while they realize that you're just a jerk, and that's not cool. You never want to be that person, boys. Never. So, like I told you in one of my lessons before, don't make promises you can't keep. My entire life, I made probably like say 7 to 8 that I can recall, 40 some years, and that's pretty impressive. And I recall keeping every single one of them. I don't recall if I didn't keep one. If you're watching this somewhere out there, this will be out for however long will internet is around. So if you're remember me from high school, and I promised you I wait in the hallway, I'll be here, and I wasn't there, and you're still holding that grudge somehow. I'm sorry, I don't remember that one. You know, so keep your promises. Don't tease people with stuff because, like I say, you keep dangling in front of them. After a while, especially when it comes to humans, they'll figure a way to get you back because no one likes being teased. No one likes being left out like that. So, um, I don't think it's happened to me a lot in my lifetime. I've been fortunate enough, but it does happen to me sometimes. I'm a very patient man. There's this expression called once bitten, twice shy. You know, it is the way it is. Once someone bites you, kind of nervous about it. And then there's another good expression go along with it is fool me once, shame on me. You know, or fool me once, shame on you. Sorry, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Because the first time you do it, if you're a good person that's been done to you, you're gonna fall for it because you want to believe in the best in people. So fool me once, it's shame on you. You shouldn't have done it. But humans, unlike animals, we don't forget. We remember the good people who've been good in our life. We remember people who've done bad stuff. And so fool me twice, shame on me. Yeah, I shouldn't have fell for it twice. So there ain't nothing wrong with falling for it, boys. You're young when you're watching this. I don't know how old you'll be when you rewatch it. Hopefully, it means more to you. Because I mean, amazingly, that's how the Bible was for me. I'm not saying this is biblical by any means, boys. I'm not blasphemous here, but I'm just saying life lessons. Sometimes it takes once or twice, 3 times, 4 times before you actually hear the message. You know, first time I read the Bible front to back, it's kind of this is a little side story, but it's kind of amazing. Um, I wanted to make sure I got the closest to the original translations I could, and I had a King James version. And in case you don't know, King James is like one of the hardest ones to read because it is still die, and die twine, and it sounds like a nursery rhyme in some parts. It's really hard to read. Jacob begot Thomas, Thomas begot. I was like, okay, just I mean, once you get the wording and once you figure out what begot and thine and all that stuff, you're like, okay, it kind of makes sense, but it still is a pain in the butt to read. Um, but as I read through the Old Testament, and right as I was getting to the New Testament, someone gave me it wasn't a learning Bible, but it was the international version or something like that thing. And so it got a little bit easier, but I refused to read that one until I was done with the Old Testament because again, I wanted the closest. So I read all the way through King James, got to the end, and started over and read the international. But international, he was born after him or he bore him. It was a little easier, and thine was thou, and all that stuff was replaced with he, she, you. And as it kept going, eventually, um, I got a student Bible, and it's I still have it. It's a study Bible, is what they call it. King James NKJV study Bible. I'm looking at it right now. Um, and it is amazing. It's the best one out there. It's literally, it seems like half the page is the scripture in the international version type, but underneath there's so many notes. Almost every section is broken down into explaining a little bit more. And so literally I have not been able to read through it because every time I get going, I find some side note. And as you can see with this side story here, I'm easily distracted sometimes. And so I used to read 5 chapters a day. That's how I got through it in like I think it took me 6, 7 months. But a chapter here with all the notes it takes me twice as long to read, and then I look for other stuff, and so. But that's no excuse. I need to start doing it again. I probably will after this now because I realize it sounds like I'm making excuses, and I'm not one to try to make excuses unless I have to. And when they're excuses, they're fact. Fact is, I have no reason not to read it. So thank you, boys, for opening my eyes with this video. I need to go back to reading it because it's fascinating. But yeah, at the end of the day, like I said, please don't feed the animals. Don't feed the humans. We need to work for our food. We need to work to get what we need. Um, like I say, and again, keep in mind, work isn't always a job. Just because someone says, oh, you're not doing this, you're not doing that, that's not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to do what you do. Okay. So let's say, I remember when I was a kid, people didn't consider acting as a job. You're gonna go out there and pretend, run around chasing Jay with props. How's that a job? Well, look how much money they make now. Some people don't consider singing a job. You just standing there reciting words. That's not a job. Yeah, it's a job. You know, staying home as a mom, staying home as a parent. Period was not considered a job until what 60s is the funny when they finally 60s 70s when they start showing respect to the single or to the mothers who stayed home. They said that wasn't a job. No one appreciated it. Teaching to some people ain't a real job. But where would we all be without the teachers? So you don't try to conform with what people think. If you for some reason want to, I don't know, a new generation probably, I don't know, be a web broadcaster where you have your podcast and stuff. Some people say that's not a job. All you do is sit there and talk. Well, if someone's paying you or your bills are being met by this thing, you know, or if you are the other half of a situation where they're working and you're staying home with the kids, which again is still frowned upon by most people in society, the men stay home with the kids, which was what I was doing. Whatever you do, if you are pulling your weight, that's what's important. So boys, pull your weight. If you're on a team, sometimes you'll be a team leader. Sometimes, like I was team captain in two different schools, Mount Tahoma and Stadium. That's fact. Everybody expected me to pull weight, expect me to be the shining example when I was out in that track field. And I did it. But there's times when I've been older, when I was in school, we had to work in teams, in colleges especially. Don't get me started on that. But there was times where I went out and signed up for a project, and my job was to edit a paper, not write nothing, not add nothing to it, just to proofread it. Now I'm a very creative person. I've created worlds. I've created games, music, proofreading. I, I get other people to do that. I don't, it's so I had to be humble because that was my job. And this was some of the papers were like 20-page papers and slides and all kinds of stuff. And my job was to proofread it. That's not a job to me, but it was my job to do. So, anyways, boys, I love you. I gotta do it again. Mwah, mwah, mwah. And yeah, just like I say, don't feed animals. Don't feed the humans. Don't tease them. The animals, because they'll bite you back. And humans, well, unlike animals, humans hold grudges, and humans will get you when you least suspect it. You know, it's not a good film. It's not a good look. Love you, boys. Daddy's out.